Good morning to you all, very few ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Acharya, Mr. Jayaraman, directors of the company, distinguished delegates, representatives participating from the host company. It's a pleasure to be with you on this occasion. This is my first visit to this township, and I am very pleasantly surprised by the ambience here. I must congratulate the past and the present management for this. You know, the beauty of a seminar is that you have as many perspectives as there are participants. So if there are 60 participants in the seminar, you are likely to get, if not 60, at least 50 perspectives of what a good financial management could be. They may share certain best practices, which is like, different wise men describing the elephant from in bits and pieces, in great details. But also another beauty of a seminar or a workshop is that it should enable each participant to carry home the full message. So that's I think after every workshop or seminar, the way I look at it, every participant is richer, wiser, and he evolves from within. He thinks, yes, maybe this is not the way, the practice which I have been adopting is not the way or not the ideal way. Maybe I can change it slightly in the way Mr. X was suggesting or Mr. Y was suggesting. So that's what I would feel at the end of these 2 days. Each one will feel like. And on the sessions that you have slotted, I'm sure the companies and organizations and individuals who have done something great would share with you. You would ask them questions. You would try to see whether that can be adopted in your own work environment, and you will learn and return back. Coming from my background, let me give you another perspective, which I would feel is obviously maybe new to many of you, maybe completely alien to some of you, maybe not welcome also to some of you. Rakesh was talking about efficient and effective management of finances. Obviously, that's what a good financial management is. According to me, if I look at what a financial management team should do, so copybook style, if you think it would be estimation of what are the capital requirements, what are the financial requirements, then what should be the capital composition, that also should be how much debt, how much equity, how much short term, how much long term, what are the choices and sources of funds, how do you get it, what is the cost of fund, how do you invest those funds, what is the best way for you to do it, how do you distribute or disburse the surplus, how do you manage your cash, and then how do you have very effective financial controls through accounting and other practices. But all of this ultimately should be to optimize the value of your company and of the activity that you are doing. It was also mentioned that financial management and the objective was earlier profit maximization, and now it's not so. 3 or 4 bottom lines was being talked about. So if you take this 3P business, and when you talk about people, planet, and then profit, then it's a question of, social equity, not only of the present, but also intergenerational. You also have issues which deeply impinge on the environment. Last year, 2015, was a watershed year, I would feel, because it saw the culmination of 2 extremely important agreements, global agreements. One was the climate change agreement in Paris, and another was the Sustainable Development Goals, which we adopted a few months earlier than the Paris event. I don't know how many of you have read these 2 documents, but if you have not read, at least the senior management people must read both of these. And when I was saying the 3 Ps, and the first P, people, that's what SDGs are all about. Sustainable Development Goals are all about people. People have been kept in the center, and all that needs to be done to make world a better place for people. How each one of us can contribute in that is dealt with it in that document. There are many goals, there are hundreds of targets. Nations can choose their own targets. There are performance indicators. National governments have to develop their own performance indicators and measure whether they have an action plan to go along that path. You may be knowing that these SDGs, as we call them, they are successor to what earlier we used to call as MDGs, Millennium Development Goals. Now, Millennium Development Goals were just like directive principles, certain stated objectives, and these were fixed decades back by a very close group of people without too much of consultation. So when that was to be replaced by another framework, the UN system thought of a very wide national consultation amongst all nations of the world. And the process by which these sustainable development goals were evolved was a widely consultative process in which each nation was involved. In our own nation, each ministry was involved, and they were asked what is it that they would like to do. And that's how this framework has evolved. So having arrived at that, there has to be a sincere effort to achieve those goals. Now, the dilemma that you may face as an employee of a particular organization, what is more important for you? Your organizational goals or something beyond that? And that dilemma can be resolved if we align our organizational goals in such a way that they are broadly subservient to the sustainable development goals. So that's an exercise which I would feel each board of a valued company needs to do. After all, your share is a measure of how people value it. It's not a measure of how much money you can return. That's of course a major component so far. But suppose tomorrow there are two companies, company A and company B, both give equal amount of return in the form of dividend, but first one is considered a very reckless company from social or environmental point of view, and the second one is considered a very ethical, very, very people friendly and environment friendly company. In no time, the share value will change. And I can tell you, in one generation, your share value is not going to be determined by what dividend you are giving. It is going to be determined by what is your commitment to environment and what is your commitment to people. So that's the transformation which needs to be brought about. See, I can speak on this for the entire day, because this is what I did for 3.5 years for the country. And I feel myself so fortunate that I was associated with both these watershed events in negotiating the Paris deal and also in preparing the SDG framework for the nation. So it's a very, very important point in the history of any organization. Those officers who are CMDs and directors now, it is their job to guide the companies towards future in such a way that their next 60 years for NLCIL is much more cherished than the past 60 years. And I hope that that transformation will take place. What role can financial management play in this? I was talking about estimation of capital requirements. I was also talking about investment of funds. You have surpluses, you have profits, you have a corporate vision. You can do that by doing more of what you have been doing, which is profitable and proven. You can do something else, like you have started, solar power. Your experiment with your Australian colleagues, or how to go from lignite to other products. Now a finance man will have to think how much of these resources need to be allocated for this kind of an activity which may not give you an immediate return, but that's your real investment for future. And that day when I was, on 17th, when I was talking to Mr. Acharya and also other colleagues, I was highlighting this point. How much of your resources in terms of your time and your funds you are investing in the research and development which can give you in future your butter. You may earn your bread from lignite, converting that into power, but the butter has to come from something else. And that's the point which needs to be really deliberated with fresh minds, with young minds, with talented people. If you have them, very good. If you don't have them, hire them, either as your own employee or as your consultants or as your partners. So these are the things which, according to me, which are extremely important. And I would feel that in your lecture series which you are organizing, you will devote enough time, and maybe you will think about a session or two which will give you the opportunity to listening to experts in those fields, so that you can take out something from that session and incorporate something, imbibe it in your own future vision. So my best wishes to the company, to the CMD, to the directors. I wish you had more ladies here. They would have added color, they would have added the soft approach to things. I hope you will do that in future. You should also invite some lady experts. It's good to hear people who are different. So that's a suggestion which I have to make. And I really look forward to your recommendations of this one and the entire series. I am a keen learner, so I always look for words of wisdom. I'm sure you will come out with something. My best wishes to you all. I also look forward to my visit in your area. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.